Okay, so now we've set up the cards in the way that we typically like to score, and you can do it any way you'd like. But essentially, you're going to line up your capitals, then you're going to have your districts and leaders for any particular capital, and then the rest of the more common cards. On one side, keep the cards that have no capitals apart from the others. You might also separate, as he's done, his two leaders that don't have a capital. Next, we're going to take all the resources from the capitals that you own and your headquarters, and they can come over by you. The next thing you're going to do is begin by doing the regional influence.
All right, so my HQ was Moonmire, so we can take a look at that and see what...
Moonmire is connected to you have Old East, and then Cove and Rock.
I have that.
And then the Ides, and that's where it stops. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that 4 times 5. So he has 20 points for that.
And then I'll also get an additional 15 because each of these match.
Right. So on the card itself, we'll have different shield colors. So he's going to get 15. Use a calculator or whatnot. 15 plus 20, and he'll start with 35 points. I'm going to then do the same thing. I'm going to first see how many I control, and it can go in any order.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So that's the max I can do, is 25 points there on that with all my capitals. So I connected all of them.
Now you also get an additional 10 points for these two that are matching.
They're on the card, so additional 10 points for that.
So we're tied.
We're tied. So we both have 35 points, and we're moving on to the next piece, which is, now we're going to look at districts. Now, how many districts do you have that match? I have 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to get an additional 15 points.
Yes. And I'm going to get an additional 10 points.
So I have 50 points.
I have 45.
I have 50 points, you have 45, and then that is done with regional influence points. And now we move to leadership. Now on this front, I have 1, 2 leaders. If they match the capital, you get 10 points for them. So I have 20 points total. I'm going to add 20 points to my total score, and I'm at 70.
Okay, so I have 1 that matches, so it's 10 points, and I have 2 over here, which would only be 5 points each, so it's 20 points also. So I'm at 65.
So 70 to 65, and we'll move on to resources. So resources, you should have your little resource tokens, and essentially you want to control the resources, but not just that. This is where your districts come back into play. And if you have a district, the district will almost certainly be either a resource district or a population district. On those cards, they will tell you what they do. On this purple district, it says if paired with Castellum, which I have, I'm going to increase my tech by +1. Now, if you don't have another tech, you can use these little plus-minus tokens. I'm going to increase my tech by +1. And I'm also going to increase my arms by +1. So my arms is here. So now I have that, and that is done. And I also have another one with the Emberlins. I'm going to reduce opponent's Horn Peak materials by 1. So he can take materials down by 1.
Okay, so I'll just lose that.
And also he has to reduce his labor by 1. All right, so I'm done with my 2 districts.
So I only have 1 for resources, and so I'm going to, since it's paired, I can get +2 to prestige. So I'll just take these 2 prestige over here. And then I can reduce the opponent's tech by 2.
So my 2 techs are now down, and I've lost 2 techs. And that is it. So now we count them up and see who wins. So I have 2 techs.
I have none.
So I'm going to get 10 points for that. I have 1 labor.
I have 1 labor.
So we tie, we push, that's done. I have 2 material.
I have none.
So I'm going to win that. I have 2 arms.
I have 1.
So I'm going to win that. So that's 30. I don't have any prestige.
So I win that.
You win that. So I'm going to get 30 points.
And I get 10.
And he gets 10. So I am at 100.
And 75.
And we're done with resources. Now we're in the capital growth phase, and we're going to count up how many of each color we have for our paired capitals. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to give me 20 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's another 20 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another 20 points. So I'm at 60. Then 1, 2, 3. You need at least 5 cards to get that to the 20-point threshold. So this is only 10. So that's going to be 70. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, I'm in the 20-point range. So that's going to give me a total of 90 points. So we're going to add 90 to the 100 I already had, and I have 190 points.
All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 50. 1, 2. 60. 1, 2, 3. 70.
So he adds that to his current.
70, and I'm at 145.
So it's 190 to 145, and we're going to move on to population. So population is all are these basic population icons are added up, and then that will give you your total. There's also, again, bonuses, and I think we both have a district that does population. So we're going to do that at the end. So we'll start by counting. I have 18. Then we have our bonuses, and my bonus says reduce his total population by -1, or headquarter population by -1. So place that on the headquarters, and your total population by -2.
Just put that right there.
All right, so that is a total amount. That's -3, so he's at 7, and on your population?
All right, so I increase my overall by +2, so I can negate that. And then I reduce opponent HQ population by -1.
Okay, so I'll take a -1 and put it on my HQ. And he is at
9.
So then what you do is you do 17 minus 9, and you get 8. In the game guide, you'll see a chart that shows exactly how many points the difference would be. So it's 8 points total, which puts it in 15 points for me. So I would add 15 to my score. Then we would count the total amount for your headquarters. I have 1, 2, 3 minus 1. I have only 2 population for my headquarters.
And I have 1, 2, minus 1, 1.
1, so I get an additional 10 points. So I would add 10 to me. And the final score is 215 to 145, and I win. Now, had we tied, and it can happen, the tiebreaker is the counting of the Thornraver army. The Thornraver icons would be counted up, and the winner would be that who has the most. And that is how you score.